Good morning to the Gelding. Gelding racing black at Flemington and plenty of group races to keep punters very interested in today's meeting.
Good morning, Professor. Good morning, listeners. Yes, back to the good track of Flemington. We're a nice good 4 track with the rail out 4 metres. But Professor, just a great day's racing. The Newmarket Saturday, the Melbourne Cup for the sprinters, over 1,200. A fantastic field and a very, very good support program with Group 2s and Group 3, Professor. I will say, though, committees, again, the VRC, mucked around. This meeting last year had 2 Group 1s, the Newmarket Handicap and the Australian Cup, Professor. Now they've decided to separate the Australian Cup and have it in 2 weeks' time. Traditionally, and this is going back 30, 40 years, they used to have Newmarket Saturday and the Australian Cup on the Monday, the Labor Day holiday, Professor, and it was always a fantastic weekends of racing at Flemington. But the committees decided to change all that around. So there's the first gripe of the morning, Professor.
Well, it didn't take you long, Gelding.
No. Well, we've had a bit to get fired up about during the week, Professor.
Well, all right. Well, there's 9 races. The first is at 12:35. Gelding, you're talking about group racing. There's 1 Group 1, that's the Newmarket. There's 2 Group 2s and there's 2 Group 3s. So 5 group races. What are your 2 best bets for today's racing, Gelding?
Professor, going a Group 2 race 3. Look, there's a horse in this. Race 3, number 3, Shuffle Dancer. I've been on it before, Professor. Trained by Peter Moody to be ridden by Ben Mallam. And I'm Invincible is the sire. The horse has had 6 starts for 3 wins, a second and a third, Professor. It's won second. It ran second on the track here 3 starts ago. Since then, it's won both races at Moonee Valley and Sandown, Professor. So, look, I'm hoping Shuffle Dancer can win over a mile. It's by the sprinting sire, I'm Invincible, but hopefully it can extend out to a mile. The way it won last start, coming from behind, no reason why it's type of racing that cannot win over a mile, Professor. So Peter Moody in fine form. Ben Mallam rides very well for him. So my first bet of the day is race 3, number 3, with a watch on a couple in the field, Professor. Number 1, Revolutionary Miss, which ran second in the Caulfield Guinea, or the 1,000 Guineas, I should say. And the Peter Snowden train, Woolamy. But I'm hopeful Moody can get us away to a good start in race 3, number 3. Professor, then we'll go to the Newmarket. The Newmarket, a very, very, very open race, Professor, but I just can't go past High Secret at $4.40, Professor. Look, I reckon about 8 to 10 horses can win this Newmarket, but in secret train, it's a Blue Army horse. I just like the way James Cummings prepared it for the Newmarket. Horse has had 8 starts for 5 wins, 2 seconds and a third, so never out of a place, Professor. It's won almost $2 million in that 8 starts. It's won the Coolmore for 3-year-olds down the straight over 1,200. Last start, he gave it a run over 1,400 in a Group 1 race up in Sydney, and it was beaten a lip after James McDonald tried some jockeying tactics with Hugh Bowman. So, and I think if Bowman had concentrated on the race rather than McDonald that might have won that race. So Jamie Carr goes aboard. Blue Army, Carr, $4.40, Professor. That'll do me for a horse that's won that, carrying 51 kilos, which is 1 kg over what it should have been carrying as a 3-year-old filly, but against some of these older horses. But look, let's see how it goes. Great respect for Private Eye, Mizzou, I Wish I Win, Rocking Horse and all that, but I just think In Secret just might be in front of them at the 200-metre mark, Professor, and with the light weight, they may not be able to catch her. So they're my 2 bets, Professor. What do you like?
Well, I just want to say, Gelding, those bets make perfect sense to me. I agree with 99.999% of what you say. So my tips now, there's a couple of theories in my tips, Gelding, and I know you hate me when I start talking about theories.
Oh, I love it, Professor. It's kind of everyone's got them.
Yeah, so
and you're allowed to have them.
So theory one, Gelding, is I'm ignoring my bet of the day, simply because it's too short. And my bet of the day, just so the viewers know, is race 2 in the James Matthews Sprint, horse number 6, What You Need. Only had 1 start for 1 win and did it very nicely. But what I don't like about it, Gelding, is it's showing $1.85 and $1.16. So, and my role here is to try and pick winners that give the punters some value.
Right. Can you explain to the listeners why you're not tipping something that will give them an 85% of return for 5 minutes investment?
No, you got me there. You got me there, Gelding.
Isn't that a good return on your money? 85%.
Look, now there's 100% of what I can't argue with you, Gelding.
Yeah, I'm sitting here and look, just for the listeners and all that, I'm still trying to get around the reasoning.
Well, we did.
You're a logical man, Professor.
In fairness, Gelding, we did discuss this before we came on air.
That's right. And you're a logical man.
And I still couldn't convince you then.
Well, you're a logical man, and I'm trying to understand your logic of not backing a thing that you think is the bet of the day.
Oh dear. All right. Well, listen. How about we leave it up to the viewers? They can use that one. My other two.
I'm
bets
just shaking my head, Professor.
My other 2 bets of the day, Gelding. Well, we've got to give the punters something to laugh or talk about, Gelding. Got to be controversial. Listen, if we agreed with each other all the time, it'd be a very boring show.
Oh, it would be, Professor, but
you'd have nothing to criticise.
No. I don't criticise your tips. In fact, I like your tips, and I think they give great value.
Yeah.
As we've had some good success, and I certainly do like the fact that they're great for the parlay betting and things like that. But I try to look and try to steer. The theory is pick the best horses and the horses that you think can win.
Yeah, I agree, Gelding.
We've just thrown that one out the window.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well,
I can catch the baby. Here it comes. Right on.
Well, if there was one horse that they could leave out, Gelding, it's my next tip, which and substitute in What You Need. Just before we move on, Gelding, you were watching a racing show during the week, and what did the tipster say about What You Need in that show?
As I said, I was watching a show called Get On with Clint Hutchison, who's a tipster on the show, and he made What You Need as his bet of the weekend, and just said if you want to see a very serious racehorse, just watch this horse. So it's trained by one of your old trainers, Mick Price. Professor had 1 start for 1 win. It won its maiden at Geelong by 4 lengths, easing up. So he thinks this is going to be a rather serious racehorse. And yeah, let's see what happens, Professor.
All right, my selection's Gelding. Race 5 in the Matron Stakes. It's a Group 3 over 1,600 metres. I've gone in that race for horse 9, Gelding. Forbidden City, coming out of barrier 9. It's had 14 starts for 3 wins and 6 placings. 21% win rate, 64% place rate. Gelding, in its last 2 races, it's run 3rd, despite the jockeys. Despite the jockeys appearing to not put it into a position where it could do any good in the race. And it beat one of the other fancied horses last month, Gelding. It beat Exalita home. So,
yeah. Professor, the last 2 races were Group 3s with Ethan Brown and Daniel Stackhouse on. So what was the concern with the rides?
Well, they didn't get one pair too far back, Gelding. Both times the horse was at the tail of the field and had a lot to make up. Now, 1,600 metres, it's running a little bit further, so that won't hurt it. Jamie Carr's on board today, and Peter Moody's training. So, and it's $7.50 and $2.40, Gelding. So if it does get up, Gelding, the parlays will be supercharged.
They will be supercharged. A bit of a trend today. The I'm Invincibles over a mile with Peter Moody as the trainer. Shuffle Dancer and Forbidden City, Professor.
Well, they could both get up, Gelding.
They could indeed.
All right, my second choice, Gelding, is in race 8, the Shaftesbury Avenue Handicap. It's a Group 3 over 1,400 metres. I can't go past in that race, Gelding. Horse number 4, Ayrton, coming out of barrier 9. It's had 13 starts for 6 wins and 3 placings, so it's got a 46% win rate, a 69% place rate. Can't go past its first up form either, Gelding.
Oh.
Five first up starts for 4 wins and a second, and the only second was to I Wish I Win. Well, Gelding, I Wish I Win ran second in the Lightning Stakes last month, so I'll take that form any day.
And his favourite for the Newmarket today, Professor.
There you go. So Jamie Carr's in the saddle, in career form, Gelding, 22% over the last 50 rides. Mick Price and Michael Kent, they're also in career form, Gelding, 28%.
Should we go back there, Professor?
Sorry?
I wish I could go back there.
Well, I wish I could go back. There's only one thing preventing me from going back to Mick Price, Gelding.
Yes?
The cost of the horses involved.
Yes, they are rather, yeah. Exactly.
I think if Gelding, if you and I were in another horse, more likely Dalziel Racing, they seem to be a lot more friendlier price point.
And I do believe both of them are in constant contact with you, Professor.
Yeah, always, Gelding.
Oh, well, they want you back. They want
All right,
back.
so my 2 selections for today's racing at Flemington, Gelding, race 5, horse 9, Forbidden City, race 8, horse 4, Ayrton. And race 2, horse 6, What Do You Need?
Dear. Well, Professor, you're going to give me a nice surprise when you tell me what our bet of the day is.
Yes, Gelding.
For the very, very successful Professor's Parlay.
Yes, Gelding. Okay, so the bet of the day, the agreed bet of the day is race 3, horse 3, Shuffle Dancer, Gelding.
Oh, Professor. You haven't included it as your best bet of the day. You didn't put it in your tips.
Well, I couldn't put it in my tips, Gelding. You've got it in your tips. Gelding, I can tell you now that when I started writing out the tips in my diary, like I always do each morning, the first thing I did was write down race 3. Then I thought, I better check what Gelding's picked. So I went to my phone and, he's picked race 3. Well, I'll leave that one alone. So
beautiful.
It's a horse we both agree on, Gelding, currently showing $3.10. And let's parlay that into the Melbourne Storm at home. Very hard to beat. Playing my Canterbury Bulldogs. Gelding, there's one thing I don't understand, how I let that slip under my guard that I didn't realise that Canterbury were playing Melbourne Storm. I might have gone and watched it, but too late now.
That's normally a game you and Giraffe head out to?
Yes. I've fumbled the ball badly there, Gelding.
Okay. Now that game's being played today?
I think it's being played later today, Gelding.
Okay. So we will know tomorrow.
We will know tomorrow.
We can talk to the Giraffe about the non-attendance.
Yes.
Or is he otherwise engaged?
Well, he might be otherwise engaged too. All right, Gelding. So Melbourne Storm are 7th. They've got a +4 points differential. They beat the Eels away last week. My Canterbury Bulldogs, Gelding. Schooner was ecstatic that Manly thrashed the Bulldogs.
The family bet.
Yeah, there's a slab gone there already, and that's too early in the season to be losing bets, Gelding.
Well, yeah, losing them in March, Professor.
Well, minus 25 points differential after one game, Gelding. Where are you going after that?
Well, you were on a bit of a high looking forward to the season.
Yeah.
It sounds as if someone's taken the pinprick to the balloon.
Yeah, it's like watching Melbourne in 2019, Gelding.
Yeah, well, I think you're going to have a lot of fun watching them in 2023, Professor.
Yeah, great expectations that were never fulfilled in 2019.
Yeah, but you got one in 21 and you may get one in 23, Professor.
Yeah, may get one, Gelding. All right, Gelding, and let's parlay that into I've taken your advice, Gelding. Very rarely I've avoided the Premier League.
Oh, thank you, Professor. The prayers have been answered.
All right, and we'll parlay that into the NBA today, Gelding. The Denver Nuggets, who are sitting atop the Western Conference, riding high with a 69% win rate. They've won 46 of 66, Gelding. They've won 30 more games than the San Antonio Spurs, who are sitting 14th out of 15 in the Western Conference. What I like about this is the last two results this year, Gelding. Denver 126, San Antonio 101, Denver 115, San Antonio 109. So at $1.12, the Denver Nuggets to prevail. The win parlay, Gelding, 5-1.
Oh, beautiful.
Helped by Shuffle Dancer. And the place parlay, not a shabby 5-2. Beautiful,
Professor. You got to like those. So, yeah, let's hope we get off to a good start with Shuffle Dancer.
Exactly right, Gelding. And Sportsfan Radio tomorrow, the panel's back.
Yes, Professor.
A panel of 4. There'll be you, Gelding, the judge, the Giraffe, me. Cooter is away playing tennis. Okay. I can imagine there's probably might be more imbibing done than playing of tennis, but he was when I spoke to him yesterday, he was confident of bringing home a result. So,
where does he do his best work, Professor? Is it on the tennis court or in the bar afterwards?
No, he does his best work at the net, Gelding.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have to move too far.
The human block.
It is, Gelding. Now, Gelding.
I'm available tomorrow, Professor.
I know, Gelding. I know.
I don't have to go anywhere.
Now, Gelding, before we leave today, racing administrators. Monday. What's Monday?
I would have thought it's Labor Day public holiday, Professor.
Now, why isn't there a metropolitan meeting, Gelding? I can't believe it. Racing at Warrnambool.
Yes, I did see that, Professor. As I mentioned a bit earlier, this used to be the weekend of racing at Flemington and the highlight of the autumn campaign. Newmarket Day Saturday, Australia Cup Labor Day on the Monday. And, then they'd have someone performing many times. It's autumn weather. Today's a beautiful day. Presume Monday will be the same, where you can go and sit out on the vast lawns at Flemington if you wanted to and take a picnic, or you could go into many of the dining options there. No, we won't do that. We'll have them Monday at Warrnambool, eh? What would you prefer, Professor?
Well, I'm not going to Warrnambool, Gelding, and I'd imagine many people wouldn't be going to Warrnambool. It just amazes me that there's no metropolitan meeting, because it's like shooting fish in a barrel. Look, people are looking around for something to do. They'd be going to the racing. You get a better crowd than normal.
It's Moonbar. Everyone has a day off. As I said, It used to be wrong, but administrators, mate, they've got to muck around with the timetable.
Yeah. All right, Gelding, before we go today, I'm asked the viewers that they can do us a couple of favours to keep That's Racing going. They can hit the subscribe button, which is just below us on the screen on YouTube, and they can also hit the like button, because YouTube like it when people subscribe and when they hit the like button. So if they do that for us, that'll help us keep going on this channel.
Is there a button with a brown paper bag that they can send us?
No, but I'm going to write to YouTube and ask them if they can put that one on where they can donate, to the cause, Gelding.
What a beautiful thing it would be, Professor.
It would be a wonderful thing, Gelding. All right, Gelding. Well, question without notice, which we love on Sportsfan Radio and That's Racing.
Your speciality?
Monday at Warrnambool. Should we do a That's Racing? I'll leave it to you.
Happy to do one Monday morning, Professor, always.
Okay. Well, I'll leave it to you. If you think it's worthwhile, we'll do it.
Okay. We've probably got to do a bit of study on it. And, I might send you a text during the day, maybe a little bit later, so we can study the form a bit in the morning.
Why not?
Hey,
How about we make it 11 o'clock?
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right. Well,
Professor,
there you are.
And I might have a few tips tomorrow for a chuka.
Well, yes, they've got to watch Sportsfan Racing to get those ones, though, Gelding.
Yes, they've got to watch Sportsfans. We'll get them, and we may have a bit of a rant, Professor, about trainers. So,
yeah, we'll have plenty of time to do that tomorrow, Gelding.
That's a beautiful thing.
All right, and the cricket, Gelding. Australia doing well.
Sensationally, but Kawaja batted beautifully. Green batted beautifully. Disappointed with the shot of Alex Carey. Great that the tail hang around for Australia to make over 500. So we certainly won't lose this test, Professor. But I think the wicket they've dished up out of the three that they prepared, they might be a beautiful batting wicket, Professor, because India certainly didn't look in any trouble last night when they went to none for 26. So it will be an interesting day today. Hopefully our spinners can get a few wickets and send them back. And if we can get them out for 300, Professor, it'll make for a very interesting test.
It will, Gelding. All right, Gelding. Well, until Monday's edition of That's Racing, it's good luck.
And good